Welcome to the official Forts Tournament 17, Genesis versus Esports.
Welcome back, Forts fans, to game number 5 of the Forts official tournament 17. Now, I know you guys would love to see a bracket, but I promise you guys to add in that stuff. I don't have access to the original bracket, so I would have to create my own. And it's just way too much additional editing, as much as I would love to be able to give you guys that extra little bit. We are in the bottom bracket now, so let's introduce our players. On the left-hand side, we have Team Genesis playing Scattershot with Mulin here at the top. We've got Mr. Bubs in the next base, Levain, VNR, and we've got Shykos at the bottom. Their opponents playing Buster, Team Esports with Bossness at the top. Moving on to Potato Lord, then Theta. Finally at the bottom, C Dragonette. Now, you guys have seen, you can see in the bottom left-hand corner and the bottom right-hand corner, they are playing Scattershot versus Buster, which means we're going to see 20 mils, excuse me, 20 mils versus 20 mils. Big advantage here with Scattershot is the bouncy shields. That could be playing a huge role in here, especially if there is a Magna Beam to come out somewhere. You could definitely see that being a huge problem. Of course, Team Esports doesn't know they're up against a Scattershot, which is going to absolutely put a monkey wrench into their entire program. Let's see how the teams are doing. Moving straight into the munitions plant here. Mulin not messing around. Getting those quick builds out here. We're not seeing any of the crazy bracing done back here. The 2 into 3 or the 3 into 4. Interesting here. We've got Mr. Bubs doing bracing inside of bracing. So we're not getting down that technology just yet. Levain playing like a boss here. Adding a little bit of extra bracing here on the backside. And we've got that munitions plant already half finished. Munitions plant already half finished. 3 turbines. Might be a bit much, but I'm sure they've practiced this strategery just a little bit here. Some random cross bracing coming from Mulin. Too funny. Let's take a look at Team Esports. We've got a flat cannon coming out of here from Bossness. No idea why. Munitions plant, obviously, from Potato Lord. Munitions plant coming from Theta, and munitions plant coming from C Dragonette. So you can see Genesis is a bit of a lead here. Excuse me again, you guys. We've got a bit of a throat thing going on. We do have, they're a little bit behind. Genesis on time to get some 20s out, probably a little bit faster. Now, wouldn't that be funny if here I am talking about 20s and then all of a sudden some weird stuff comes out? Flat cannon with the factory. So this is probably going to be the Magna Beam. Now, I have found with Buster, in my opinion, Buster Magna Beam, Buster 20 mil Magna Beam is actually quite strong, but you don't need it. The penetration from the depleted uranium shells from Buster's active ability, I think, in my opinion, is better to scatter the damage all over the base because it penetrates the lights on fire. I think that does more damage than having a Magna Beam 20. That's just my opinion. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Okay, so we're coming up to 3 minutes and 25 seconds with not a whole lot going on here. We got some 20s behind some wooden bracing. So you can see here, this is one of the issues I actually have in my streams, is I typically put one weapon down and then door it. Where you can see in these multiplayer matches, 2 weapons seems to be very common here before the dooring starts. Micro doors coming out of Mr. Bubs. That's gonna be good to see. Other than it does create a weakness here for plasma beams to come right through the wood and absolutely dominate. Fire beams are the same. Micro doors are great to prevent sniping, but overall relatively weak against laser type technology. Sniper here applying some damage. You can see that C Dragonette sees the background bracing here in Shykos' base, and or I should say Shykos' base, because you don't have an S after an apostrophe with another S. So that'd be Shykos' base. She's the background bracing there, trying to exploit a couple easy picks there, but obviously Shykos has that bracing in the way, so snipers can't do any dirty foul play. Look at Potato Lord here, actually dominating this map at the moment. Look at that. He's got 2 20s and the doors in the front already with a little bit of some butchered Canadian lumber spam. That is actually really good to see. We've got the Incursus sniper right above the core. Now, in this position, not great, but not also not bad. The main reason that this is a little bit worrisome because of this base is because there's a base that has the altitude, the trajectory, a downward trajectory. We've talked about this a little bit in my tutorial video on how to core swing. We talk a little bit about trajectories in the beginning. And how that works. You can see Potato Lord here firing a little bit of damage, and the bouncy shields start to come into play. So this is where Team Esports is going to see that Genesis is playing Scattershot, and hopefully we'll see their strategy differentiate here just a little bit. Sorry, we were talking a little bit about the trajectories here. Having this empty void space right above the core, not necessarily the best thing to have. Early game is okay, but you can see the wood bracing right up here comes down into essentially nothing but empty space. So that can be detrimental when it comes to mid to late game here. Looking like Bossness completely whiffs the... Oh, no! Oh, he completely whiffed. Oh, that cost them everything. Whiffs the Magna Beam shot into the ground rather than the bottom of the base, causing most of those shots, excuse me, most of those shots to completely miss and taking out Theta in the return. That was a huge misplay from Esports, and probably at this point will cost them the game. I cannot believe that happened. Revealing what commander they are and then not getting the kill due to a misplay. Scattershot 20s coming out everywhere. This is really nice to see in some top tier plays. We're not seeing Pinch Fist versus Pinch Fist. We're actually seeing some other strats here. This makes for an exciting game. Oh, really disappointing from Bossness whiffing that Magna Beam shot. That is absolutely detrimental. There he goes. Corrects it. I'm not sure he was talking with his teammates. He clearly was not. Zero communication there. And the Magna Beam shot is done. Oh, another whiff. Really disappointing here, you guys. This is very, very depressing coming out of Esports here. Lack of communication. Another GG. This is going to be a quick match here. Scattershot's activated ability turns 20 millimeters into shotguns, essentially, with the 20 millimeter round. This is going to be very quick. Bossness here whiffs it basically twice. That is very, very sad. It'd be very nice to see Esports make at least a little bit of a comeback here, but it's looking like their demise and the elimination round in this tournament is about to be fulfilled. Not a whole lot of strategy going on here, guys. There's not a whole lot to talk about. Very simple, straightforward strategy. You can see here that Levain and Shykos not even bothering with the additional mines in this base right now. Firing the Magna Beam. Again, his teammate only has one weapon ready. This is the third time that Bossness has completely whiffed his Magna Beam shots. He's not even communicating with his team to try and figure out when he needs to fire. He's just coming off cooldown, and he's firing it right away. Oh, very disappointing. Esports maybe should have tried to communicate better or pick someone a little more qualified to handle that Magna Beam. Unfortunately, that's going to be most likely it for this game. We got shields in the front here. Levain firing there, and Mulin firing at Bossness here, taking out all the energy production and a whole bunch of stuff. Adding this... What? No, that must have been the previous one already. Still there from the base. And a complete whiff from Sea Dragonette. Even he's admitting there up in the chat. Even he's admitting that he whiffed it there again. Wow. I don't really have much to say, guys. I'm feeling like Esports might be asleep at the wheel here. Just a little bit. The amount of misplays and mistimed and bad accuracy here has literally cost them everything. If you're gonna place a bunch of shields, you need to have gunners. Another misplay here from Sea Dragonette. Shields coming across there looking good. And what a shot from Mew Lin. That aimbot absolutely dropped down. We know. We know it's not an aimbot. That is actually Scattershot's active ability gives you that aiming arc a little bit, so to help get your projectiles onto point. And this is going to be it here. Howitzer, I don't think was the answer. A slow projectile that can easily be taken out. You see this very common with newer players. They're like, I need to do mass damage. So what do? They pick something that can easily be shot out of the air rather than trying to target some weakness or a door snipe or something like that. And it's looking like Bossness here is about to get dumpstered. We're just coming up to the 10-minute mark now. Team is spamming in the chat. EMP's coming from across the map. 20 millimeters. Scattershot's activated ability, and Mew Lin is actually dialed in here right now. The bottom players, Levain and Shykos, having a hard time reaching that top base. And it's looking like this is going to be GG. Decided to go shields rather than portals, which again was a terrible mistake. Portals at least would have shot them back at their opponents. Shields just deflect them, basically turn it into nothing. So a bunch of misplays here from esports basically cost them the entire game. They could have had Mr. Bubs taken out right away there had Bossness not missed that original or initial Magna Beam shot there. And they shot the ground right here. Checking out that should be GG here pretty quick. And it's looking like Bossness here fighting tooth and nail. There it goes. And that is GG, you guys. Unfortunate result for esports. Miscommunications. Let this be a lesson for players that want to join into tournaments and things like that. You need to have an in-game leader. I can tell you right now, having someone that calls the shots, that communicates with the team, that organizes and strategizes will bring you closer to victory. Now, I can't say whether or not the top teams have them or are using in-game leaders. I'm sure that there's skills and experience essentially is what's guiding them right now, but I can tell you, the moment that one of them starts using an in-game leader, all the other teams will fall. And that will be the difference between it, you guys. That is the final elimination round for these teams here. Esports will no longer be in the tournament. Disappointing, very disappointing loss there. Genesis versus Esports, Scattershot versus Buster.